Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for some strictly Barça news. And it's big news as well, because we are going to be talking about Frenkie de Jong, the interview that he's done, speaking out about what happened back in the summer transfer window, when of course he found himself at the very heart of a full-blown transfer saga. He was heavily linked to Manchester United, to Chelsea as well, after Barça appeared to put pressure on him to leave the club. And today, we're going to be hearing from Frenkie. We're going to be hearing about those thoughts, about those emotions from what happened back in the summer. And it's intense. I would say even explosive from Frenkie. And that is why we discuss it here today. So come on, and let's get to it. Because Frenkie de Jong is indeed in action today for his country versus Senegal at the World Cup, and he's expected to be a very key part of Louis van Gaal's team this winter. But it was actually an interview that he did with the Dutch publication De Telegraaf on the eve of the tournament that's generated the headlines, the big headlines about what happened back in the summer. And you do often get this, I think, when players go away with their national team, especially here when it's quite an extended period of time, that they're away then from their club. You will get some big interviews, you will get some significant reveals from them. And right here today, there's big emotion from Frenkie, and I would say brutal honesty in his thoughts. Because when he was asked there about the summer transfer window and whether there was pressure from within the club for him to leave, and whether certainly looking at his contract and things like this, who does he blame? What does he feel happened in the summer that led to all of those things? He said, I blame these people, speaking about those at Barça that wanted him out. He said, but I have nothing to do with them. Now, he doesn't mention anybody by name here, but we believe that he's referencing the Barcelona board, because he says, yes, they are Barça for me because they lead the club, but I don't see them when I'm at the club. He said, I have nothing to do with them in my daily life there, referencing the hierarchy at the club who Frenkie believes wanted him out in the summer, and that's not gone down well with him, but it hasn't affected his everyday life at the club. Of course, training and matches, the board are not involved in any of that. He said, one day a paper published details from my contract. He said, now I didn't leak that, and only one other party knew about it, so it had to be the club. It had to be the club who leaked my contract. So Frenkie there openly pointing the finger at the board at Barcelona for leaking his contract there to the media. Of course, we've heard all about Frenkie's wages. We've heard about the big amounts and potentially the huge salary. And all of that came out during this explosive summer. And then Frenkie said suddenly there was a letter in which the question was asked whether my current contract was even still valid, because the previous president there, speaking about Bartomeu, he made the contract. Frenkie said, I found it very annoying that the club did this, but I had no further influence on things. And you can see quite clearly here, from even just starting out, he's not happy. Still, even now, months on, he's still very frustrated about the way things that were unfolded, and I think he still definitely feels angry at the hierarchy at Barça. There is more to come. But on those words there from Frenkie, there was an immediate response from sort of within the club, because Joan Laporta's advisor, his sort of right-hand man at the club there, Enric Massip, actually responded straight away to Frenkie's words, and he came out and said, I can say with all of my knowledge that the one person within the club who defended the continuity of Frenkie de Jong the most was President Laporta. He says there that he never considered selling him, even despite the club's delicate financial situation there. So Enric Massip claiming that Laporta was one of Frenkie's biggest supporters from within the club and actually wanted to keep him. But I did think it was interesting, though, thinking about the more footballing side of things there, when Frenkie was asked in the interview about his relationship and about Xavi's role in what happened over the summer there, thinking about the two of them together and the feelings between them right now. Frenkie did say he left the possibility of my departure open. He never came out and said Frenkie is staying no matter what the financial situation, but Frenkie did say, I don't put the blame on Xavi for the situation. And I think that's fair there, because yes, Xavi didn't come out and slam the door, but I think we have to be fair and say, could he have done? You know, does he really have that power, given the financial situation, given all these things that were happening beyond his control? I don't think he had the authority to say, well, Frenkie, can't leave. He's not going anywhere because of that pressure from the board. And I think Frenkie gets that. He said, I never got the feeling that Xavi was against me. That's really, really good to hear. He said to the media, he said that he was happy with me, but there's also the financial part of the club. He said, I think it was difficult for him to speak out about this. He was not the one making these decisions. And honestly, guys, from this interview, that is really encouraging there to hear there's no animosity between Xavi and Frenkie de Jong. The summer was very turbulent. I think bad things happened, certainly in the way things developed from board level. It wasn't good, no mistake about it, but it's great to hear that Frenkie and Xavi have a good relationship. I think Xavi does rate him extremely highly, and also Frenkie's worked so hard to get back into the team and show Xavi again what he can do. And I think by far and away, the most significant quote, and certainly the one that we can latch onto as Barca fans following this interview here from Frenkie, was actually when he was asked about the future there, where he sees himself in the years to come, the club that he wants to play for, where he wants to be in his career. Once again, he left nobody in any doubt. He said, I am very happy in Barcelona when I play. It's great, and in terms of living here, life is perfect. I see myself at Barcelona for as long as possible, and I personally hope to be here for another 8 to 10 years. And that's always been Frenkie's stance right from the word go here. When it comes to joining Barca, you know, it was his dream to come here. Now he's got here. It's his dream to be here, and it is ultimately his dream to stay here in the coming years. And I think what we have to do here, obviously there's frustration, obviously there is emotion, transfer windows can do that to the best of us, but I think what we have to do now is put that summer in the rear view mirror. We're not going to erase what happened, you know, at board level, like I say, but I think the most important thing now is that we focus all of our energy on the pitch. And to his credit, that is actually what Frenkie has done. Throughout his time so far this season, in the first half of the season there, Frenkie was very committed, he was very focused on his performances, and that's why he's worked his way back in. That is why he's a part of Xavi's team. That is why his influence is growing in that midfield. And I think what we want to see now, looking forward to the future, is more authority given to Frenkie de Jong. We want more trust to be placed in him there, thinking about the deeper role, thinking about that holding midfield position. We want him to have that trust from Xavi, and it's going to be really interesting to see what now the second half of the season holds. There is going to be some reaction, of course, I'm sure, to these words in this interview from Frenkie, where he is very honest. But I just hope now that in the transfer windows that we have to come, looking at January, and of course looking as well ahead at the summer to come, that we don't get any repeats of what we've seen, that we don't go back down the road where we've come from. Let's move on from that now. Let's keep together, pull together, because Frenkie is a wonderful player that we, of course, want to succeed here. And so indeed, guys, what I would really like to know from you in the comments down below is what you made there of Frenkie de Jong's words. I've got to say that interview did take me a little bit by surprise there. It was certainly brutal words at times from Frenkie, and I've got no doubt at all that you've got some opinions on it as well. So let me know there your thoughts on Frenkie's emotions and his feelings as to what went on. And of course, I will see you very soon indeed with more videos. Nice to bring you here some strictly Barca content. Honestly, I wish that we could do this every day. I wish that it was all about Barca and that we were still playing right now, but the situation is what it is. I'll be back soon, yes, with more, and I thank you indeed for all of your support. It really does mean a lot. Thank you, guys. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.